What is up, PTG people? We are back here once again for our Week 6 matchup here in the draft season. This week we are taking on Blade and the Orlando Oricorios. You can see his team on the screen here. Mega Diancie, Clefable, Heatran, Heracross, Rotom Heat, Swampert, Verzion, Galarian Slowbro, the Guzzlord, Crustle, and Delphox. So a couple things about this team that I recognized pretty much immediately. It's very, very slow, and it has some Trick Room elements to it, which is very scary. Between Galarian Slowbro, Guzzlord, Crustle, Clefable, kind of, Swampert, they're all down base 60 and below, which can really utilize Trick Room to the best of their abilities. At the same time, they have some really fast, devastating threats, or some really hard, bulky threats that deal with a lot of our team decently well. Mega Diancie, Heatran, Heracross, Verzion, all problematic mods. So, it's going to be a really tough matchup, for sure. I don't know what their record is. Let me check on my phone real quick, so I don't have to disturb the dock as I have it for They have not won a game as of the end of week 4. I don't know what the result was. Oh, apparently there was no game. Neither of them were able to get together and play, so it is what it is. But yeah, they were not able to play, so they have not picked up a win this season. So, but that doesn't mean that I should prep for this any less than any other match, because that would be disrespectful to my opponent. So, going into this game, I need to basically bring the toughest team that I can, make sure that I can pick up the win. Starting that off is going to be one of our newest additions, who I will have. We're actually bringing both of our newest mons this week for the first time, which is great. We have Groot the Mega Sceptile, and I've never used Mega Sceptile in draft, and I'm really excited about this because this thing's speed stat is dumb. So looking at Blade's team, his fastest mon is Mega Diancie at base 110, so that taps out at 350. So all we had to do was run 100 speed EVs, and we outspeed his entire team bar any Scarvers, which is brilliant for us. So I decided to run max special attack with a mild nature, and then threw the rest into our attack stat. We're running a mixed set this week, so that'd be cool. With Leaf Storm, Aerial Ace, Earthquake, and Dragon Pulse. Dragon Pulse just kind of smacks things that don't resist it. Pretty self-explanatory there. It hits things really, really hard. We have Leaf Storm. Kind of also debate things as well. Like if we fire off a Leaf Storm into, like, say, obviously I think Heatran would switch in on this, right? If you fire a Leaf Storm into Heatran coming in, it chews that Leaf Storm. Chews it up. He thinks, alright, they're switching this turn. They're specially offensive, obviously. We click Earthquake and just Oko Heatran. And they're just like, whoa, crazy. Same thing can also happen with Verzion and Heracross, which can also switch in to a Leaf Storm pretty easily, right? We have Aerial Ace, which is 4 times effective on both of them, and would absolutely nuke both mons. Nuke them. So, with this set, basically, we can lure and easily kill at least 2 different mons on the team without any real effort. And Leaf Storm still does a dumb amount of damage to everything else. Like, it's going to Oko, Diancie, Oko, Swampert, of course. It probably Okos or comes close to Okoing Crustle. Crustle's not the best on the Spadef side. And it's pretty tough. It's pretty strong. I love it. This mon is going to be putting in a lot of work in this game, and I'm really, really excited about it. This thing also kind of works well against Rotom Heat, because Overheat is neutral against us, so we still have like enough natural bulk, thanks to our Dragon typing, to tank an Overheat if we have to. be able to smack it back with Dragon Pulses, and obviously we have the Lightning Rod, so he can't like Volt Switch out against us and stuff like that too. So it's really nice to have. I love Mega Sceptile already. I can't wait to use it. Next up we have Pants. The Slowking, Color Berry, Regenerator, fully physically defensive. I have to run physically defensive on a couple mons, and there's reasons for that. So, physically defensive on this thing gives me more ways of dealing with Swampert, gives me more ways of dealing with... It helps me with Diancie, because Diancie's Diamond Storm obviously is a physical attack, so it does hit pretty hard, so being fully physically defensive allows me to take under half from everything from it, which is good. Helps me deal with the Swampert, obviously. We do have the Grass Knot for the Swampert. Future Sight's Scald and Toxic. I'm going to be spreading Toxics on everything. Future Sights and Toxic are going to be flying all over this game. The things that resist or are immune to Future Sight don't appreciate getting scalded, potentially Scald Burnt or Toxic. Specifically have the Cold Burn plus Toxic so that I can Toxic the Guzzlord, because I do very much see Guzzlord potentially like coming to this match. I could very well see it, because it does hit a lot of my team really hard, so being able to get rid of that would be great. But just having the Colbur Berry there as an option is really good too. I do like this. We have the 4-speed also, by the way, so we can outpace a uninvested Galarian Slowbro and be able to just kind of scald in its face and whatnot. So that's the whole goal with that. Next up we have Lumberjack, the Haxorus with the Roselli Berry, Mold Breaker, 166 speed, Jolly, max attack, and 88 HP. The speed plus the Jolly nature allows us to outpace Rotom Heat, and obviously anything slower. We're running Swords Dance, Scale Shot, Earthquake, and Poison Jab. First of all, with Mold Breaker, Earthquake will OHKO Rotom Heat. Obviously it already blows back Heatran, so that's nice to have. This thing pretty much is banking on them not bringing... What am I hoping they don't bring? Actually, this kind of hits all their team. We're just hoping we don't need stronger Dragon coverage. That between Earthquake and Poison Jab, we can smack things up pretty hard. That's pretty much the goal. Because basically, if we get him at SD, first of all, we have the Roselli Berry, so Poison Jab has a chance to OHKO Fizdef Fable at +2. However, there's also a chance that it doesn't. So we need that as an option. We need to be able to deal with that. So if we get up an SD, we Poison Jab it. If it lives, we eat our... it will Moonblast us, we eat our Roselli Berry, and we're fine, and we just KO it back, and no problems. Easy peasy. If it doesn't live, then we keep our Roselli Berry, and then when Diancie comes in, because I do believe Diancie shows up, when Diancie comes in, we also eat we eat our Roselli Berry on that Moonblast, and we kill it with an Earthquake. And there we go. And hopefully with an SD up, we can get off a Scale Shot on something. Preferably either like a weakened Guzzlord, potentially they might be sacking off, or like a Virizion. We could probably take a hit from them, or like anything that's a little bit weakened. We can get a SD up, get off a Scale Shot, get that speed boost going, and then just win the game with this thing straight up. So that's kind of the goal here. Next up we have Hoodlum, the Scrafty with the red card. This is actually Crustle. Scares the living hell out of me. Crustle scares the hell out of me. Because if that thing gets up a Shell Smash, burns its White Herb, whatever, and goes off, we're flamboozled and destroyed. We're done. I don't know if Crustle already in this one. I'm really trying, guys. I'm really trying, I promise. I'm not a very PG person. I'm trying my best. I'm doing the best that I can. But we have the red card, so this thing will come in on Crustle, right? Crustle gets up a Shell Smash, right? We intimidate it, so he's down. He's only at +1 attack. We eat a hit from Crustle. pop the red card, it's gone. Shell Smash is gone. If it's a White Herb Shell Smash set, that's gone too. And we have nothing to worry about anymore. The Crustal's main way of dealing with us is taken care of, completely wiped out, and we have essentially nullified the threat. We can go for a free knockoff, it'll bring something else in, we get the knockoff off and it'll be great, or we can even go for Ironhead, we bring something else in, potentially, and we get like an Ironhead off on Clefable or Diancie, which would be even better. We have Toxic, just in case we get the opportunity to Toxic something. Would be great. One thing I could also see being there is an Unaware Clefable. So this thing is actually invested to outpace an uninvested Clefable, so that we can, if it turns out that it is indeed Unaware Clef, and we don't get a poison from the Poison Jab, we can always Toxic it, so that it doesn't just sit around forever, and we can eventually beat it. So hopefully that would be the case. We can be able to deal with that. Or we can just Ironhead it down, let's be honest. We have 236 attack Adamant, so you can just hit hard. Close Combat also hits really hard against his team. Like, he doesn't really have a lot of good resists to it. So that's cool. And the resists also aren't, like, strong. Super strong, so. But this thing's literally just here because of Crustal. This thing's literally here because Crustal exists. Period. So it can potentially mess that up. Next up we have Dai the Primarina. Max HP, 120 defense, and 136 speed with a Timid Nature. The Timid Nature with the speed is for an uninvested Rotom Heat, which I do think probably would be the case. I do believe he needs a bit more of a really bulky Rotom Heat for this matchup, especially to deal with my Sceptile. I will try to scout throughout the game and see if that is indeed the case, see if he is running Max Bulk, trying to get the calcs for that, and see. Because if he's running Max Bulk, then we can deal with him appropriately from there. So, that's the goal. With that, we can be able to surf that thing and beat it down. Moonblast, Surf, Calm Mind, and Life Dew. So, realistically, obviously, first of all, this only works if there's no Unaware Clef, right? Realistically, if we outpace the Rotom, we can Calm Mind up on something like Swampert. We can Calm Mind up on something like Guzzlord pretty easily, and start boosting up. Rotom, once we get up a couple boosts, Rotom won't be able to do too much damage to us, especially if it's super bulky, which I think it has to be. So, that's good for us. And then, when that's all said and done, we'll outspeed it and be able to kill it with Surf. Even if we just get a +1 Calm Mind, and if we know we outspeed it, we can just fire off a Surf and kill the Rotom and break through it. Surf Moonblast hits the entirety of this team for neutral or super effective damage. So it puts us in a really, really strong position. Then Life Dew, once we get a couple Calm Minds, there's certain mons we can just Life Dew up on because they can't touch us. So we can just Life Dew ourselves up back to full and not have to care, which is great. We can just keep ourselves as healthy as possible, which I think is nice. So I went with a Rindo Berry because of the Virizion. Virizion obviously can just smack us up with like a Leaf Blade or something. Obviously, if it's like a physical set, and that's problematic. So with the Rindo Berry, we will chew that Leaf Blade, and especially if we get a Calm Mind or two up, Moonblast will blow back the Virizion. So yay. Last but not least, we have No Talk, Mihangi. No Talk, Mihangi, the Morpeko, Life Orb, Morpeko, Hunger Switch ability, of course, Aura Wheel, Seed Bomb, Parting Shot, and Psychic Fangs. So I decided I'm just going to go full bore nuke everything this week. We are at 88 HP, so we set the nice Life Orb number, which is convenient, because when people say Life Orb number, they basically mean like ending in a 9. Because the way Life Orb calculates is it rounds down. So it's not going to take 27.9 of my HP every turn. It's just going to take 27 points. Takes a 10%. 27 points. So after 10 Life Orb hits, I still end up with 9 HP. So it still puts me in a okay spot. Max attack and then 168 speed. Again, we're going for that Rotom Heat speed tier. Because frankly, the only things that outspeed that are Delphox and Virizion. I don't know if Delphox comes, or if Delphox does come. I don't expect much from it personally. And Virizion, I don't think he'd be running like Scarfed. So all we need is to get one Aura Wheel off. One. That's all. And we're golden. We have Psychic Fangs, Aura Wheel into Psychic Fangs with Life Orb. KOs the Virizion. If we can get off the Dark-type Aura Wheel into Swampert, if we can get chip damage on the Swampert, C-Bomb also takes that out as well. And once Swampert's gone, we just click Aura Wheel with Reckless Abandon. Certain things we'll click Parting Shot on. Like we'll always Parting Shot on Guzzlord, because we can Parting Shot into Permarina and not care. We can also Parting Shot into Hoodlum if he's still alive and not care. Pretty self-explanatory stuff there. But this thing can just click Aura Wheel and nuke things. We'll Parting Shot on the Clefable, of course, so we can go into one of our other mons to deal with it. Just overall, Morpeko's going to put in some work here. I'm really, really excited. I do love Morpeko so much. I've been loving using Morpeko this season, so it's going to be really fun. It finally feels like I have like a fairly balanced team. Like obviously, like, it's not the most balanced it could be. I'm bringing 2 water types and 2 dragon types, but it still feels like incredibly balanced. Like everyone does its job pretty well. So I'm really happy with how the team's turned out. It's not perfect, obviously, but it's randomized, and so I think I got the best that I could get out of the randomization based upon my luck, and it's been working out really well. So we're 4-1 right now. We're in like 2nd or 3rd place in the league, so that's pretty solid. We take those. So hopefully we can pick up another W here against Blade, and yeah, we'll be able to keep up our momentum. But that being said, I'm gonna jump right over to the battle, and yeah, see you guys there. Alright guys, we are here for our Week 6 battle against Blade and the Orlando Oricorios. And yes, this is indeed post-com. I apologize. I do not like doing these post-com. I really prefer doing these live-com, but I was on call with a friend of mine, and I just didn't I didn't want to just like hang up to do the just didn't want to like end it off. So yeah, so he decided to bring the Mega Diancie, Crustle, Heatran, the Virizion, the Clefable, and the Rotom Heat. So interesting brings for sure. Genuinely, it's like I'm trying to think what I was most concerned about. Let me take a look. What was I most concerned about? The Virizion being there is annoying. It's going to be a pain in the butt to break through. He didn't bring like a Trick Room core with like Slowbro and Guzzlord and stuff like that, which is nice. No Delphox, which is fine. I didn't really think that that was going to show up. No Swampert is kind of surprising because my Morpeko has gone ham, and I do have multiple electric types on the team. But I guess with Mega Sceptile, I guess that scared it off. And then no Heracross. I kind of would have figured like a Scarf Heracross or something to like break through things like that. But let's just go ahead and hop into the matchup, and let's go ahead and show you how this one played out. So he leads off immediately with the Crustle, and I'm like, alright, cool. I have a strategy for this. I'm going to Earthquake it first, so I get some chip damage off. And now he goes straight for the Shell Smash. I was like, alright, I figured he was going to do this immediately, so I just went hard into Scrafty, pop the red card, and get that thing out of here. Scrafty lives in Overheat from Rotom, showing that I'm pretty sure he's like fully defensive. And then I live the following Volt Switch. So I just fire off a Toxic here, and I get the Toxic off on Virizion. So right off the bat, Scrafty is going ham, and he goes X-Scissor here. Now, my thought process here is like, okay, he went X-Scissor. The only reason, one, you would ever run X-Scissor on Virizion like this, and two, you would go for it here, is he's basically telling me he's Choice Scarf. I'm 100% convinced that this is Choice Scarf for Virizion. 100% convinced. I would be surprised if it's not. I'm pretty sure this is Choice Scarf for Virizion to outspeed my Sceptile. I would be willing to bet on that. So, with that in mind, obviously I'm not going to go Sceptile, because originally I thought, oh, I'll just go Sceptile, Aerial Ace it, and be done, but I don't want Sceptile taking that damage, especially because I am Hasty Nature, or Mild Nature. So, I don't want to go back into Haxorus, although I probably could just go Haxorus, set up an SD in this thing's face, and not care, and be good to go. I probably could just won there, honestly, but didn't do that. Probably could have just, actually, if I had just set up an SD on this thing, I'd probably just won the game, straight up. But it is what it is. But, so I decided instead I'm going to go into Primarina and call his bluff. And he indeed does switch out. So I do 100% believe that he is Choice into that. So I'm going to go into my Haxorus here on the Clefable as he actually goes for a Thunder Wave. Very good play on his part. Get me paralyzed. Kind of sucks. Moonblast comes out. I eat my Roselli Berry. And I'm Poison Jab. And this reveals to me this thing has no defensive investments at all. This thing has nothing going for it at all. I don't know if he has EVs on this thing at all, but none of them are in defenses. I calced this, and it was like, it did like, it should have done like 40 to 48% if he was physically defensive. Especially defensive, still like 50 something to 60 something, not 74. So he has no investment. He protects here, really regretting not just clicking SD, but it's what it is. And he goes Heatran. I called this play. I called the switch too. It was like, I calced it and I was like, alright, listen, he has no investment. So like, obviously since he has no investment, I'm just gonna click Earthquake. Because like, if he switches, I kill the Rotom. I get another 40% off on Crustle. I kill the Heatran, and I get like at least 40 to 50%, maybe even more, probably like 60% on the Diancie, depending on if it's like really offensively built. And I get good chip damage off on the Virizion. So like, there's no way of losing. So I do get fully parried there. He shows the Dragon Pulse as I go for the Earthquake, and he lives. So he's fully Fizz-Def Heatran. So that's crazy. I was not expecting Fizz-Def Heatran, so he just kill me with the Flash Cannon here, but that's fine. I may be down 4-2, 4-6, but now it's just time. What do we say? What does Limp Bizkit say? We rollin'. I click Aura Wheel because I have no reason not to. He has no resistance. He has a resist to it, but like nothing that terrifies it. And I just keep clicking Aura Wheel. I calced the first one. It's a Hasty Nature Diancie, so even with being the Dark type Aura Wheel, it would have killed. So I'm just going to keep clicking Aura Wheel, and I just get through the Diancie. I have Psychic Fangs, so I'm just going to kill the Virizion. No think, just kill. He goes into Rotom here, I go for Aura Wheel because I'm just like, I don't really care. I can't really afford to go into either of my remaining 3. Because if he clicks Overheat, like, Sceptile will die. And if he clicks Thunderbolt, it messes up these 2. Or Volt Switch, and it messes up these 2. And then I'm back on the back foot. So I just click Aura Wheel again. And he actually predicts me to switch. And he goes for the Thunder Wave. He predicted me to switch. So now I can just Aura Wheel again now that it's the Dark type Aura Wheel. And now I'm at +4 speed. And I've killed almost everything. Aura Wheel misses out on the KO here, unfortunately, as he just goes for the Earthquake and takes out my Morpeko. But with Crustle sitting at 2%, Heatran sitting at 3%, and Clefable sitting at 25%, I just go Sceptile. I'm just going to Mega Evolve. Aerial Ace is going to take out the Crustle. Clefable comes in, goes for the Protect. I tried to kill it with just Earthquake, but apparently I'm not allowed to do that, so I'm just going to Leaf Storm and kill it. Which is fine. And then he's going to go into the Heatran here, and I'm going to go for the Earthquake and finish it off. And that is going to be it for this matchup. We do pick up a 3-0 win, and we move to 5-1. We are killing it, ladies and gentlemen. 5-1. I believe +7 differential now. +7 differential, I believe, is where we're at, which is really, really good. I'm really happy with that. Really, really happy with that, honestly. Yeah, we started off the season pretty good. We had that one stumble. We had that big stumble against the SK Firewolves, where we heavily just misprepped for that situation. We did not have the appropriate prep needed to deal with a Slurpuff, which was really bad on my part. I goofed that up. But we bounced back, and we bounced back hard, and we have kept the ball rolling. So let's hope we can keep that up and through the rest of the season. The only team currently ranked above us before they play their Week 6 game is actually Devin and the Meowths. That's the only team ranked above us. So, you know, we'll see. If he loses this week, that would mean that we move into first place, which would be awesome. Which would be absolutely awesome. Next week, we take on Aiken and the Borussia Boltons, I believe, who's had a bit of a rough season so far. So hopefully we will be able to pick up another win and keep this momentum rolling. But thank you guys for watching. Until next time, I'm PokePrimer, signing off. Peace.